There we go.
Let me see what
There we go.
it is.
Okay, we ready? Okay.
50th anniversary.
That's an old training plane.
24.
That's I never flew that one.
Have you saw this?
Oh, I hope not.
No, no. But Parks Air College, which is out of St. Louis,
Uh-huh.
they had a reunion of cadets. They had a number of fields where they trained primary flight school. And when I went, there were a lot of G's and H's, so I knew these guys, because it goes by alphabet.
Uh-huh.
But we did get honorary alumnus of St. Louis University because Parks Air College gave it all to St. Louis University, and that's their aerospace division now. And
Uh-huh.
when we went, they had the co-pilot on the Enola Gay talk to us.
Oh, really? Oh, my, yes.
I think I showed you this one.
I did.
Yes, yes, you did.
I
yes.
showed you that.
Yes.
He's a Waterloo guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he
I didn't
was.
know that. Okay.
He was.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. I had asked you earlier, you didn't have your own plane.
No. We had three crews for each airplane. So they would just assign you a plane, and you get in a truck, and they'd haul you out to the hard stand where the plane was.
So whatever, I mean, you never had your own plane, so you
No.
never got to name your own plane.
No.
That's sad.
No. But the colonel named one after his girlfriend.
Oh, did he? Did he? So did any of the planes have names?
Oh,
besides that one?
some of them might have had planes names.
Names?
I don't know.
But you don't remember them?
Didn't pay any attention.
Oh, okay. Because I mean, you always see.
I
some
know
of
that.
these-
Some of them really went into names on them. A lot
Yeah,
of paintings.
and paintings.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Okay, but you guys weren't into that.
No.
No,
No.
no.
Just
I
the
see.
colonel.
Just. And you mentioned that the flight training school. So they obviously didn't train you in one of these, the B-24s, right? Or did they?
No, not
You-
one airplane. They
Right, okay.
use Liberal, Kansas. They have a bunch of B-24s and a bunch of guys to fly, learn to fly it.
So you did, but what did they train you in?
B-24s.
Really?
Oh, yeah, down in Liberal.
Okay, in
Yeah.
Liberal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And see, then my
That's
question.
where
My
that's-
question would be that, okay, because, all right, during the war, they are, if you will, making newer planes, like you said, then there comes the B-29. Who's learning how to fly these?
Well, the B-24, they have many, there's a B-24. The latest one was the J model, and that was
Okay.
the newest one.
Okay.
But they had a lot of these B-24D, E's, F's,
Uh-huh.
and they were kind of outmoded, but they still flew like a B-24. But they were not used overseas at that point.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And you mentioned, all right, I'm just wondering if there were no German planes anymore,
Fighters.
fighters in the air. What, and I suppose you can't take any chances, but what do the gunners do? They have to be bored out of their minds.
That's right. They were sitting there worried about the flak, like the pilot. But I often thought, why are we hauling these gunners? Why do they have to go up? But if one went down and they discovered there were no gunners,
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah. They have to go.
That's right.
You never know when
That's right. They had to
something
go.
could-
That's right.
something could happen. You
Yeah.
just wouldn't know that for sure. And you showed showed me this picture of the crew that you had. That was your crew?
That was not a crew. That's other pilots learning
Oh,
in advanced
okay.
flight training.
Oh, okay.
Notice there's the G's and H's in there.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. You had parachutes?
Oh yeah, we strap them on. We wouldn't wear them. We'd have a thing you wear, and then you'd have a parachute laying behind your seat to pick up and strap on if you needed it.
If you had to use it.
Right. Now
Did you?
that mission to Linz, that was so
Uh-huh.
bad.
Uh-huh.
I went back to Linz once, riding in the co-pilot seat for an old co-pilot checking out as a first pilot. And so I'm riding, and over the target, the pilot is flying the airplane, not the co-pilot.
Okay.
So when we went back to Linz, when we got on that bomb run, I had my feet out in the aisle ready to go.
Just in case.
Just in
Just in case.
I just remembered Linz was not good. A lot of flat guns.
Okay, but I mean, all right. Did you ever? I mean, did they ever train you in
Well,
jumping out of a parachute?
no, but they had gimmicks where they'd lift you up with a chute and drop you 30 feet or something.
So you kind of have an
Kind
idea
of.
what to do,
Kind of.
but they didn't train.
We
you.
never jumped. We never. No.
Okay, that's quite interesting. I didn't know that.
No,
but as I think
you had
about
your
it,
parachute. We didn't pack them. Somebody else packed them up. You know, make
Uh-huh.
sure they're supposedly working.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. But in reality, I mean, did you ever see any planes that, all right, if they did catch some flack, are they going to come down necessarily, or will they be able to make
No.
it back?
Oh, there a lot of them just have holes. You know, they get some holes in the fuselage. That didn't bother them. We're not pressurized.
That's true. That's right. That's
We
right.
were
you
not
weren't.
pressurized. We all had oxygen masks.
So a few holes doesn't make any difference.
That's right.
The plane's not going to come down
No.
unless it takes.
Like I say, that the one my co-pilot was in lost 7 feet off the end of the wing. He
That-
made it back.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
That had to be a chore
Yeah.
bringing it back. With
Actually,
that much of the wing
actually, he didn't get all the way back at that time. We knew he was all right,
Uh
but we packed up his stuff anyway to
huh.
make him think we were going to send it home, you know.
You guys are terrible. Oh, that's cruel. That's cruel. In terms of the plane itself, how did it? You know, was it easy to? I mean, in reality, once you got it up there, was it easy?
It was a hard handling airplane. It was not an easy handling airplane. You were fighting it all the time.
You know, and in modern days, okay, we're talking about, you know, if you run into some turbulence. Did you ever run into that?
Oh, yeah. One time in training in Liberal,
Uh-huh.
we went up and we came back in a thunderstorm, and one of the planes hit a downdraft on the approach and ended up on the ground before the runway. So we went over to Oklahoma City and landed there. But, you know, in those days, the pilot was in control.
Uh-huh.
And my instructor pilot just told him we're going back to Liberal, whether it was open or not.
Uh-huh.
So we took off to go back to Liberal. And filed a flight plan, that's
Uh-huh. I'm just thinking here in terms of as you look back at the war, and what's your, let's call it maybe your fondest memory, your best memory
Oh, the best part is just learning to fly, you know, living on a air base, having nothing to do but fly. Fantastic. You know, you go through the training, no, that,
So
and a
why
bunch
didn't
of,
you stay in flying then?
well, I knew it was kind of a dangerous occupation.
Really?
Yeah.
You flew in a war.
I know that, but it's still, you know, I never got into this Thursday afternoon fly on a little airplane.
Really?
Well, I had a good friend. He was an MD. I knew it from Iowa City. Lived in Denison, Iowa, and he was president of the Flying Physicians of America. He and his wife bought it down in Houston, going in for a landing, and piled up and both died.
Okay. Okay.
You know, and
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
look at all the little airplanes that pile up someplace.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah. That's true. The smaller ones. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind flying if that's all you did was fly.
Yeah.
But just to be flying on a Thursday afternoon is not a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know, in the military, you had good equipment, well cared for.
Did you ever? I mean, obviously, after a mission, you come back. Did you ever? I mean, did you? What'd you do in your spare time then? Okay, you said you got like 2 or 3 days off.
Oh yeah, not much. Not much. Nothing, there was nothing to do. You eat and you play some cards and write home and
Uh huh.
you know.
Uh huh. Did
Right.
you ever? All right. I'm assuming. Okay, if you're overseas, getting letters from home are wonderful things.
Oh, absolutely. You know, I hadn't seen the girl but 1 week since I went in,
Uh huh.
and here we get married when I get back. She had it all figured out.
Did she? She was plotting, was she?
Blah, blah, blah.
How often did your folks write? Every week?
They had all boys.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Uh huh.
I
How
don't
often
Here's
did
his
you
boy.
write?
Here, look
Not
at-
often enough,
here,
I'm
look at
sure.
the boys.
Uh-huh.
See?
Not
They're all
often
boys.
enough.
Not often enough.
No,
God,
probably
like
not.
But then, obviously, then you couldn't leave the base. Or
We-
could you?
Well, one time I took some crews over to Naples that were going to Capri for a R&R. We went to Rome for an R&R.
Oh, did you?
They put you up in a nice hotel and get tour the city, see it.
Boy,
Went
that's
to
long
Rome,
ago,
went
isn't
to went to the St. Peter's, and oh yeah,
Really?
oh yeah. Got to Bari, Italy, which is down on the coast.
Uh-huh.
We had some time, but you know,
That's surprising that they let you go.
well, ours when we went to Rome, that was for an R&R, you know.
But,
With
you know, I mean, the Italians hadn't dropped out of the war, all that, you know.
oh yeah, they were gone, they were out, sure.
That's amazing that they would let you, because I just didn't figure that you're going to be able to travel anywhere over there, that they're going to let you off the base. To,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, like I say, we went to Rome and
Uh-huh.
Naples, and
Uh-huh.
fact is, I ran in Naples. The base was run by the British,
Oh, really?
and I had to go up some steps to check in.
Mm-hmm.
And coming down is a Waterloo pilot who was stationed on that base, but he was a troop carrier command, and his name is Paul McDowell, and he married a gal that I went to kindergarten with.
Boy, is that a small world.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
He got a Jeep that night, and we hit one of those nice restaurants high on the hill overlooking the Bay of Naples.
Really?
And at that time, Vesuvius was spouting.
Really?
Right.
So you got a real show then.
That's right.
Yeah. No kidding. In terms of when you did get back and they obviously let you out fairly soon.
Oh,
Discharged you.
yes, because we had a lot of points.
Was that why?
Oh yeah, they had a point system, and with 4 battle stars and all this stuff, we had all the points you needed to get out. And they didn't want us, you know.
Yeah. At this point, the wars did. All right. When you came back though, but you said you came back in July. Was there any? Maybe did you think possibly they're going to ship you over to the Pacific?
I didn't really think so. For some reason, I didn't think so. They were not shipping 24s over. They'd have to check me out in a B-29,
Mm-hmm.
that type of thing. Well,
And then but then by August it's all over anyway.
that's right.
So
That's right.
yeah, and you knew that. Yeah. So and this has nothing per se to do with you, but when you heard about the United States dropping the atomic bomb, what did you think?
Well, if it ends, you know, you think of those poor guys that have to slug up on the beaches,
Mm-hmm.
and if they didn't have to do that, why?
Anything?
They did enough of that.
Right.
No,
Right.
it doesn't bother me at all that we dropped it.
Right. Right.
I know some of the activists, you know, they say, oh, terrible.
Yeah. 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 In terms of, and again, looking back at it, when the war is over with, and the relationship between, if you will, Americans and Germans versus Americans and Japanese.
Well, you know, we went right back in with the Marshall Plan into Europe to rebuild the whole thing. And I think there's more animosity against the Japanese because they did start Pearl Harbor and,
Right.
and kind of a sneaky way of doing it. So I think there was more animosity against the
The
Japanese
Japanese.
than the Germans.
Which leads me to another question. Do you remember where you were when you heard the news on December 7th?
I don't know. I don't know. It's a Sunday. I was probably having Sunday dinner at home.
What's the first recollection you have that, whoops, this isn't good?
I don't know. Just I'm sure it was almost immediately they declared war. You know.
Right. Yeah. The next. Yeah.
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 And here we were, like senior in high school. You knew that things are going to involve you.
Uh-huh. What's your impression of Roosevelt?
Roosevelt?
Yeah.
Oh, he was, to me, he was a great president. Yeah. You know, he foresaw.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some accuse him of inviting it. I
Mhm.
don't know. But no, here we had that depression was something else, if you haven't
Mhm.
experienced that.
Mm-hmm.
The 30s, we never went hungry. My mother was a great cook. Never went hungry, but you know, a bricklayer in those days, come wintertime, you didn't work.
That's true.
Today, you know, they cover things up and
Mm-hmm.
they lay that block and pour cement anyway,
Right.
but not then.
Right.
So most of the time, we would not go on vacations, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't go fishing,
Mm-hmm.
because Dad worked in the summer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Bill, he was a bricklayer for quite a few things in town.
Oh yeah, his first job when they came to Waterloo was the old West High School on West 5th Street.
Really?
And he had laid a lot of brick out at Rath Packing.
Oh, yeah.
There was a lot of brick out there. He was in charge of the brickwork on the old YMCA downtown, which is a beautiful,
Yes,
beautiful building.
yes.
He was in charge of the marble overlay on the telephone building on the east side by the post office.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Really?
I've seen pictures of the Cornerstone Lane at the YMCA. Vern Nelson has those.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad's the
There?
one doing the laying of the cornerstone. Yeah.
That's interesting. That's very
Yeah.
interesting.
Now, my other three brothers all laid brick.
Oh, did they?
See, here's all the boys.
Uh-huh.
The oldest
Little
one
boys.
ended up in charge of building St. Francis Hospital, now known as Covenant.
Really?
He was
That would have been back in the
60s probably. He was a contractor on his own. He built Zion Lutheran Church,
Okay.
Pete Junior High,
Uh-huh.
and then he figured out that one wrong bid and he's broke. So then he went with Jens Olsen,
Okay.
and just about that time they were starting St. Francis Hospital or Covenant,
Covenant, yes.
and he was in charge.
Of that.
My youngest brother, the Navy boy, is a pharmacist. He laid brick, but he went back to school and is a pharmacist, and he owned the drugstore in Dysart, but he's now in Sun City. And he called me the other day to tell me that the drug I take, and I take one,
Mm-hmm.
it's called digoxin, or it used to be Lanoxin, but
Uh-huh.
the generic is digoxin. And they've recalled it all.
Oh,
And I've taken one since 1974 for tachycardia, for
Uh-huh.
the rhythm
Right,
of the heart.
right.
And now I have to call, I'm going to call the VA tomorrow. I get my
Uh-huh.
medication
From
to the VA.
Yeah.
I'll call them and see what they're going to do, you know.
Oh,
I would think that whoever used to make Lanoxin would get into gear and make it, you know.
Yeah. You would think so.
You'd think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
and I could well be that I don't need it, you know.
Right. Right. Well,
Could
we'll
be.
hope.
Could be.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think I've gotten my
You
questions
have done
answered.
a wonderful job, thank you.
Well,
This is a good story.
it'll be interesting how Chris,
He'll make
Hanson.
it into
how he edits this.
he'll make it into a good story. Very well. Very much
But
so.
remember, it's not to go out on
He
any.
won't put it out anyway.
It's not on YouTube.
No.
We're not going to put it on
No.
YouTube.
No.
No. No.
It can go to Columbus for your class and the family.
No, yeah,
Uh,
thank you.
I run
Do you have a
late.
Do you have a DVD player?
Do I? Yes.
Do you?
I don't know how to run
Yeah,
it.
but
I have to go.
Okay.
But Gary,
Okay.
thank
Here, Mimi.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Mimi,
you.
just take a picture.
Thank you.
Mimi.